Hey, welcome back, everybody. um, so a little bit of information for you guys. I went and bought book. Obviously, I went and bought book 8, right? And I was like, I'm not gonna open it until obviously later on. I also bought book 3 just in case I'm almost done with book 2. So now I'm reading book 1 to you guys. Reading book 2 on the live chat every now and then, every day, and then reading book 3 I'm done with book 2. So yeah, and here we go. Um, Eli, Eli has joined the chat. Thank you, Eli, for stopping in. How you doing, bud? Hope everything's good. All right, let's go. Let's go. Chapter 6. Um, so chapter 6. Princess Donut ended up eating something, and she turned into a gob of boop, bloop, a bloop, a bloop, a glob of boop, a blob. uh, Mordecai was trying to poke it with his foot, and he said, "Ah, just gotta wait 5 or 10 minutes, and he'll be fine." It's like, all right, what's going on? I know a gaba boop, a globa boop, bloop. All right, chapter 6. Hey, Marlene, how you doing? As we waited for my mutant cat to emerge from her blob, I examined my other loot. The fingerless gloves went onto my hands of the two weapons. Menace, welcome in. How you doing? Hi. I'm gonna start over. How you guys doing? Chase. As we waited for my mutant cat, hi! As we waited for my mutant cat to emerge from her blob, I examined my other loot. The fingerless gloves went onto my hands of the two weapons. I liked the feel of the cudgel more than that of the poker, which felt like it would bend and break the moment I had something with it. Hey Chase, how you doing? How's your night going? I examined the cudgel's properties. The game show host AI described it using a caveman voice. Thank you for the heart, me minutes. Um, the game show host AI described it using a caveman voice. Toad, cudgel, big stick for bunking, bunk toad, bunk mob, bunk girlfriend, and dragged back to cave by hair. Oh, okay. Thank you for the go popular minutes. I wondered if the metal pot was still out there. It'd be better than this bullshit. I placed my hand on the symbol branded onto my jacket, and an info box popped up. Goblin Pass. It's a tattoo on your forearm. Now you'll never get a job. Note: past tattoos cannot be hidden unless you purchase a cover-up sleeve, which will show through any armor you may wear. Removes automatic goblin hostility, allows for free passage through goblin-controlled territory in the dungeon. Warning: holding goblin pass will cause natural goblin enemies, such as fairy-class creatures, to deal 20% more damage against you. Still, it looks kind of badass. I grumbled that the system didn't give me a choice. It just burned it right onto me. I didn't have any tattoos, and I never really wanted one. Most everyone I knew had plenty, but I'd never liked the idea. My old man had been covered in them, and it wasn't ever something I associated with being cool. The black leathery and hooked nightgaunt cloak weighed almost nothing. It appeared to be made from the wing of some sort of demon creature. The skin was stretched between rows of long, body-like finger bones. When I put the hood up, I noticed it had pointed ears, sayings on either side. Enchanted Nightgaunt Cloak of Stoutness. The wearer of this cloak gains +4 to Constitution and becomes resistant to poison ice-based attacks. In addition, the cloak adds anti-piercing resistance to all worn armor. It also makes you look like a dollar store Batman. Warning: if a Nightgaunt spies you wearing this, they probably won't be too happy with you. This is an extremely valuable cloak, Mordecai said, but the shirt is better, much better. Enchanted Trollskin Shirt of Pummeling. The wearer of this shirt gains +7 to the regeneration skill. In addition, all melee bast. In addition, all melee base damage debuffs such as stun, knockback, disarm, and out of breath are negated. The shirt is also quite stylish, maybe a little too stylish. Unlike most monster skin apparel items, this shirt will not grant a negative reaction amongst trolls. In fact, lady trolls might just want to haul you away for some one-on-one time if they see you in this. Oh yeah. uh, that shirt is one of the best Under Armour garments for tanking, Mordecai said. A level 7 regeneration skill means you're back to full health pretty quickly after taking damage, in as little as 2 minutes. Finding it was a lucky break. This is something that would be in a platinum or a legendary box. You don't have to tell me twice, I said. I pulled off my jacket and slipped a short sleeve shirt on. It felt cool to the touch and form bit to my skin. A couple notifications appeared. I put the leather jacket back on and then added the cloak. I felt a quick rush of power course through me as my constitution rose from 5 to 9. New achievement! Loot. You're wearing something you found in the dungeon. Reward. You're now a handsome son of a bitch. That's reward enough. New achievement. Ooh, magic. You're wearing a magical gear for the first time. You're a wizard crawler. Reward. You receive a bronze adventure box. I think he was trying more like, you're a wizard crawler. You're a wizard, Harry. The box contained another torch and a pair of healing potions, leaving me with a total of 6. I still don't have any plants or shoes. I was wearing a jacket, a cloak, and boxers. I shook my head. I examined the last item, the toe ring. Here we go. Enchanted toe ring of the splatter skunk. Imbues wearer with a +3 strength and give +3 to the skill powerful strike. Also, it's a toe ring. It's probably uncomfortable and it makes you look like one of those hippie assholes who sit around in the field juggling and hula hooping all day. But you gave it to him. Powerful strike is a good skill, Mordecai said. Each level multiplies your damage when you're not wearing a weapon, wielding a weapon. Each level multiplies your damage when you're not wielding a weapon. So at level 3, each kick or punch does 3 times the damage it normally would. With your unarmed combat skill and the pugilism skill, your fists already do much more damage than either of those weapons. You might want to consider a monk class, which will enhance that further. So I could be like a ninja, I said. I sat down and slipped the toe ring on. It adjusted itself, sliding easily into my filthy, bloody index toe on my right foot. Like the description warned, it was uncomfortable. I'd never been a jewelry guy. I hopped up and down trying to get used to it. I felt my strength rise by 50%. And just like that, you're almost as strong as any human who has ever lived, Mordecai said. I received another snarky achievement for putting on jewelry, but no reward. I started to fiddle around within my skill menu. Despite the heavy filtering, there was a lot of information there. There was literally a skill for everything. The menu had a search box. I typed in Frogger just to see what happens. Growing up, my old man had an original stand-up Frogger video game machine from an arcade. I had spent hours and hours playing the game when I was stuffed in the basement. My mom locked me in there a lot. Whenever my dad had his friends over, they smoke and drink and get loud, and my mom didn't want them being a bad influence on me. So instead, I stayed downstairs with no television or internet and that damn machine. The top score one could get on an original machine was 99,990. The game never ended, so you could keep playing past that, and the score would cycle over and over. My record was 879,460. Sure enough, it popped up. Frogger 1981 video game cabinet version. Results hidden due to filters. Skill 8. I grinned at that. I wonder why that skill was hidden by the filters, but things like lacing boot skill 3 wasn't. Probably only included skills used from the dungeon. I doubt there would be a Frogger machine in one of these hallways. But that wasn't true, was it? Assuming it hadn't been tossed in a landfill, that old Frogger machine was down there here somewhere. At least the atoms of it or whatever. The dungeon was literally made out of items built by human civilization. I sighed. It was hard to comprehend. Really, Carl? A new voice said. It was a female. Sultry, yet pompous at the same time. If you're going to insist upon wearing that hideous cloak in public, you might want to do yourself the dignity of putting pants on first. I just can't fathom why Miss Beatrice hired you in the first place. Hired? I looked wildly about for the speaker, expecting to find someone dressed like a medieval princess. Instead, All I saw was the cat. Why would a girl hire a guy? And now I'm looking at it because of all the things that she said. Like later on, she says it, but still, like she cheats on him. She cheated on him. She was the daddy taxing, and now she thinks she's like he works for her. What? Chapter 7. It was a really quick chapter, huh? Donut? I said, looking down at the cage. Mordecai stood beside me, mouth agape. Despite being nothing but a pile of goo just a few minutes earlier, the cat appeared to be exactly the same as before. Maybe she had gotten a little bigger, but not by much. Either way, she was still decidedly a cat, except for the talking part. First off, Carl, my name is Gigi, BWR, NW, Princess Donut, the Queen and Chunk, and I'm going to have to insist you call me by my proper title. I will accept just Princess or even Princess Donut, but not if we are in the presence of high company. She looked at Mordecai as if he was something she had just vomited upon the floor. I suppose Princess Donut will do for now. I see what's happened, Mordecai said after a moment. You're party with her so you can see for yourself. Pull up the stats. I clicked on the party menu and then I clicked on Donut's stats. Strength 11, Intelligence 11, Constitution 2, Dexterity 8, Charisma 25. What the hell? I said. She was stronger and more intelligent than me, and her charisma was just ridiculous. What happened? Her stats were all over, all except Dexterity, which was always 8, and Charisma, which was 5. Whatever buff you gave her kept her race but changed her stats. Let me look. Yes, it's like I saw. Look in her health menu. It shows conditions. I clicked over and under buffs, it read Enhanced Growth. After initial boost to 4 random stats, all additional levels will automatically grant +1 to strength and intelligence. Charisma will gain +2 per level. No additional stat points will be received upon level up. Wait, I said, so she's getting 4 stat points per level instead of 3? I had to look up what all that meant. GC, Grand Champion, forgot what BWR meant. Okay, so her name is GC, Grand Champion, BWR, Breed Winner, NW National Winner. So she has all those titles. So when you meet her, she tells you, yes, my name is GCBWR NW Princess Donut, the Queen and Chunk. That's a long ass name. Nobody's gonna remember it. I'm kidding. Let's continue. Wait, I said she's getting 4 stat points per level instead of 3. Yes, Mordecai said, and she doesn't have to wait until she picks a class before they disperse. But that boost is a double-edged sword. She's forever stuck with a constitution of 2 and a sturdy of 8 unless she can find some gear that will enhance it or she picks a race and class that change it for her. But even then, the points will still distribute as indicated. He grunted. With a charisma like that, she should consider a hard bard base class. 2 points every level is going to add up fast. I'm immune to the effects of her charisma. Same with you and other crawlers. But all the other NPCs and mobs won't be. For the first several floors, the number is huge, bigger than you realize. But how can she talk? She's still a cat. I'm right here, Donna said. It's quite rude to talk about me if I'm not in the room. And you must know, Carl, for me, I hear your speech as it should be heard. And you hear mine as the disgusting monkey grunting you call English. Imagine this other creature hears it as squeaks and Berman is his. This whole translation system is quite elegant, I must admit. I'm going to have to start the tutorial over, Mordecai said. She's not a pet anymore. She's now classified as a regular crawler. Not necessarily. I heard everything you said to my manservant. Oh my god. Donna said, now we wave your hand and grab me access to my prize boxes so we can get this farce rolling. Manservant, I said. He's a little slow, Donna said to Mordecai. Intelligence of only 3? Sad, really. But he's been with the family for a while now, and I just can't see myself letting him go. I've activated your menus, Mordecai said. Oh wow, he looked at me. She received a legendary quadruple box for being the first cat to enter the dungeon. I watched as a group of loot boxes lined up in front of her just as they had done with me. She only had 5 of them, 3 bronze ones with a couple healing potions and torches. Next was a silver adventure box that contained a book and a pile of pet biscuits. Note over the book read, Tome of Magic Missile. Next came the legendary box. The symbol on the front was a lion saying, only a single item came out. A small jeweled tiara. The cat-sized crown glittered with smoky dark gems. The deep purple stone in her center swirled internally with clouds as the center was liquid. Enchanted crown of Sepsis horror. That sounds ominous, I said. Wait until you read the description, Mordecai muttered. The item disappeared to inventory. That cat sat down and started groom herself. Are boxes custom tailored to the person? I asked as I pulled up the party menu. I quickly found I couldn't examine items in Donut's inventory, only items she had equipped. Sort of, Mordecai said. You'll receive items that can't be used by your race, but not necessarily your class. So a human barbarian might receive a necromancer's staff. Donut glowed a bright red. Mordecai turned to the cat, raising his hand. Ah, Princess Donut, I see you taught yourself the magic missile spell already. That's good, good. In case you didn't know, tomes will permanently teach you the spell, and scrolls will just cast it once. The other item you received is quite valuable and powerful, but it's a very dangerous item. Before you decide to put it on, you should take special note that it. Poof! The crown magically appeared on her head. Mordecai lowered his hand, sighing. How the hell did she do that? I asked. I had to manually put on my cloak and shirt. She's a quadruped, so she has a different user interface than you. She can perform many actions directly from her menu. Now that it was equipped, I could examine the tiara's properties. Hey Cindy, how you doing? Enchanted crown of sep- Enchanted crown of the sepsis horror. Who's a dirty girl? You're a dirty girl. This is fleeting item. This is unique item. Imbued where unique is has I don't know why. A fleeting item, and this is a unique item. Imbued where imbued where with +5 intelligence grants the user +5 to good first impression skill. All attacks, including magical attacks, now have 15% chance to inflict a sepsis debuff. Warning! Seriously though, I'm going to say this again. Warning! Read this shit before you put it on. Placing this crown upon your head permanently places you within the royal line's succession of the Blood Sultanate on the ninth floor of the World Dungeon. Removing this item will not remove the status. Royal members of the Blood Sultanate will be required to slay the Sultan and all the other members of the royal family before ascending to the 10th floor. You'll only want to wear this if you're a bloodthirsty, raging psychopath. Oh boy. That, IBN, I'm not so sure you should have put that on. It's purple, Donut said. Purple is my color. Do you know how many purple ribbons I've won? Do you know what it takes to get a purple ribbon? What does fleeting mean? I asked Mordecai. And why is there an asterisk by unique? Donut received a few more boxes from learning the spell and putting on the tiara. It was all low tier potions and torches. She sorted through the items now, hissing with displeasure each time she received another torch. Fleeting means it'll crumble to dust the moment she takes it off. If that happens, another crown will be generated somewhere else in the dungeon. Now that it's on her, don't let her take it off. If any other crawler gets the crown, it'll just be one more person you'll have to kill to get off that floor. The idea of having to fight actual people hadn't occurred to me. Would that really happen? That thought of it made me sick. I looked at Donut. What the hell am I going to do now? I asked, shaking my head. The tutorial was over and I knew it. We'd have to go back out there. It's quite simple, really, Donut said. You need to assist me to this 18th level so I can exit this hellscape and resume my rightful place as leech. I'm assuming this rat creature won't be able to travel with us. She lifted her paw and pointed at me. So you have been promoted from manservant to bodyguard. Congratulations, Carl. Princess Donut has named your party the Royal Court of Princess Donut. Princess Donut has changed her title to Royal Bodyguard. Princess Donut has changed her title to Grand Champion Best in Dungeon. Really? Mordecai laughed. She has the highest combined stat total, so she's the designated party leader. As such, she has more control over the party menu. Don't worry, the titles don't mean anything. He paused, suddenly serious. Listen up, kid. She's quite a bit more powerful than you are right now. So you want to stick together. At least until you get to the ninth floor. That will be a challenge. You can always leave the party. That crown's on her head, not yours. Donut walked to the door and scratched at it. It opened on its own. All right, chapter 8. So I'm thinking of it. Chapter 8. Um, I'm on book. Obviously, I'm book 2. So we just find out the whole lineage thing of the crown and everything in book 2, and I'm like, oh, so that here we go. That's great. Um, so basically, in the first, because her tone changes from like in the middle of the book, I think, but she goes from yelling at him and telling him to do things for her to now just like they're a team. So I love how it's like they've like changed throughout the entire book. Um, yeah, it's a lot of progress for both of them, because now they trust each other. But back here, it's just like, she's telling him what to do, and he's all like, "Why are you talking?" Fine, I'll fix it later. Thank you. Chapter 8. And with no additional fanfare, we left the guild and struck out into the dungeon. Other side. I know. There you go. There it is. All right. By the way, Mordecai said as we left, now that I've successfully trained both of you, if you enter any additional training guilds, you'll be transported back to this room. I'm now your registered guide, so feel free to come back here if you have any additional questions. You'll lose access to me once you hit the fourth floor. Yeah, take care, I said. Good luck out in the universe once this is over. Uh, Also, time to level collapse 4 days and 20 hours. So they have 4 days left to get to the second floor. Mordecai looked at me sadly. Yeah, good luck to you too. He grasped my jacket and met my eyes and then whispered, "It's not worth it. No matter what they tell you, not until floor 12. And even then, negotiate as much as you can. Remember that." He slammed the door and my mind reeled. What did that mean? Was he saying it was better to die than to take whatever exit that offered on floors 10 and 11? Did that even matter? Floor 10? Who was Mordecai kidding? 3 million people had died in this place in the very first hour. I wasn't expecting to survive until the next floor opened up. Okay, Donut said, here's what we're going to do. You're going to walk that way, and where we get attacked by anything, you protect me. Wandering aimlessly, that's the plan? I asked. We have approximately 29 hours before the aliens are their television show. That means we have 29 hours to do something absolutely spectacular. But, Donut added, first we need to find you some pants. The search for pants that never happens. I will not be presented to the universe in such a fashion. I can just see the comments now on Martian social media. Martian social media. She mocked an alien voice. She mocked an alien voice. Beautiful cat, Borg, but why isn't her bodyguard wearing pants? I sighed and started moving down the hall. We headed back to the way we'd come before, back toward the main thoroughfare. This entire area was scorched black from the explosion of the goblin dozer. The smear of blood from when the dozer had run over the goblin remained. Everything else had been destroyed in the explosion. You know you're not wearing pants either, I said after a moment. Fucking late. Nor am I wearing a cloak that makes me look like I won a participation trophy at the special Nice Comic Con. Carl, I'm a cat. Cats don't wear pants. Don't be so droll. Well, we came to the junction and I rarely looked around the corner. I didn't see anything. This hallway was lit by torches, not the green lit chin, so it was much brighter. It seemed completely abandoned in either direction. We stepped out into the wide tunnel. Now I know your simple mind is telling you to just keep. Okay, I said, turning on the cat. I was struggling with this decision earlier, but this transformation or whatever has happened has made this much easier. I'm going to go that way. I pointed east. And you're going to go another direction than that. Good luck. What? Donna said. You want to separate? I don't understand. Look, I said. Mordecai said you're not a lot more powerful than I am. Great. That means you'll probably be okay. More okay than me. I leaned in. But I would rather just get this over with and get squished by a goblin bulldozer than spend another second dealing with this bullshit. Cats are assholes. I get it. But do you know why people like cats despite their assholeness? Because they don't fuck or talk. If they did, and they were all like you, they'd be extinct because we'd have killed you all by now. I pulled up the menu and tried to figure out how to remove myself from the party. Wait, Carl, wait, don't. I'm sorry, wait. What? I said. The cat sat on the floor. She seemed to deflate. I'm sorry. You're right. It's just. Have you ever woken up from a long dream? One where you're one thing and now that you're awake, it takes you a moment to realize that's not who you really are? I just looked at her. Okay, when I woke up back there, I had all my memories of all my time being me, of sitting in that window looking outside of watching television all day long, of all the hours in the carrier in back of Miss Beatrice's car traveling to those horrid yet wonderful shows, of being told what a princess I am, and then suddenly my mind looked back on all of it and I understood what had happened. I am a grand champion, Carl. I'm supposed to act a certain way, but sitting in your lap watching you get fragged over and over in Call of Duty, I like that too. I mean, you really suck at that game, but you keep playing. I didn't realize it at the time, but I like that. So what are you saying? That you're not a crazy stuck up asshole princess? Oh, I am a princess, Carl. But I'll try not to be too much of an asshole. I need you, and you need me, okay? Look, I'm really scared here. I don't want to be alone. And I know you, and you don't want to be alone either. I saw you the other day looking at the map on your computer and then at those apartments on Craigslist. What do you mean? I asked, but I knew exactly what she meant. There was that day when the passes were clear. You could have taken me back to Miss Tree's parents, but you didn't want to. You were looking at apartments, making sure they allowed cats. You were thinking about kidnapping me. I just looked at her. It's exactly what I had been doing, but I hadn't been admitted to myself. It wouldn't have worked, by the way. Her dad would have gotten me back right away. I sighed. That was true, too. B's dad was a lawyer out of Yakima. Okay, I said, let's keep moving. We kept traveling. The minimap showed the cardinal directions and we headed east. I kept an eye out for any special rooms or other dots. Yeah, anyway, I'm not wearing pants because you decided to jump out the window, I said after a few minutes of us traveling in silence. That reminded me, and I felt in my pocket. Yes, a pack of Marlboro Reds. I still had half a pack left. I still had my Zippo. I also received a lighter from that goblin box, so now I had two. I had to pull it back. I had the urge to pull back pack out right then, but I knew I probably wouldn't get any more cigarettes ever again. I had to conserve them. If I hadn't jumped over the window, if I had jumped out the window, we'd both be dead right now. Why did you jump anyway? Stop, don't hiss. There's something down there. We passed the multiple junctions and alleys. Everything in this maze was featureless so far. I saw no signs of life whatsoever. We stopped now by a thin alleyway similar to that one that had hidden the goblin dozer. It was completely pitch black in there. On my map, the alley led down to another junction, then several more tributaries. The map only revealed so much of the area, so I couldn't see past there. There were no red dots or anything like that, not that I could see. What is it? Donut leaped off the ground and landed on my shoulder. I suppressed oof. She wasn't nearly as heavy as she used to be when she did that. Then I remember my strength was much higher than before. She curled her long, fluffy tail around my neck and glared. A long growl escaped her throat. What? What do you see? Twump, twump. Two bolts shot out of Donut's eyes, one after another. They were like laser blasts from a sci-fi movie. I was surprised that I almost fell backward. Instead, I just stumbled a little. I remember she had the magic missile spell. The first bolt hit the rocky wall of the alley, sending bits of rock and smoke up showering. The second was better aimed and traveled the length of the tunnel before splashing against something that howled with pain. It was too far away for me to see what it was, but the moment the missile hit, a red dot appeared on my map. Okay, there it is. Go get it, Donut said. Yeah, maybe next time wait until we know what it is before we start randomly shooting at it. What if it had been a person? The creature made a deep rumble that was half bleat, half roar, and started galloping down the alleyway toward us. Whatever it was big. That's quite obviously not a person, Carl, Donut said. Shit, shit, shit. The thing was really booking it now. Shoot another missile, I said. A third magical missile shot from Donut, this one hitting it directly in the chest. The creature staggered and cried out in pain, obviously hurt, but it kept coming. In the moment it was lit up by the pulse blast, I could distantly see what it was. I got a good enough view for the info box to pop up. Bad llama. Level 3. It's a llama, but it's bad. If he were human, he'd be covered in prison tattoos and would be hanging out in front of the Circle K hitting on a 14-year-old girls. They might be willing to sell you something if you have good stuff to trade. You won't want to get hit by their spit. God damn it, Donut, I cried, jumping back from the alleyway entrance. A red baseball sized ball of spit blasted out of the hallway and splattered across the floor, sizzled where it hit, and the stones of the rocky floor turned crimson. Lava. The llama was shooting lava out of his mouth. Llama! Llama! Lava llamas! I balled my fist. Mordecai had said my punches were more powerful than either of the weapons I had, but the idea of fighting a fucking llama with my bare hands was ridiculous. I had the fingerless gloves I'd received in the loot box, but they offered no armor protection. You're gonna have to shoot it again, I said. I can't, Donut said. I'm out of mana. Didn't you get a mana potion? I cried as the llama emerged. The damn llama was ever even. The damn llama was even bigger than I expected. It was as large as a horse. The creature had giant yellow buck teeth. It turned its scorched and tan-colored head to glare at me. One of its eyes had been blown off by the missile. Black and red ichor poured down the side of his face. It had the debuff septic pulsing over its head. The powerful debuff was similar to poison. It worked faster, but it couldn't be stacked. And unlike poison, it could be healed with a simple healing spell or potion. The llama's health was already about three-quarters gone. Donut howled and leaped off my shoulder as the llama reached back to spit again. That thing's neck glowed red. I hit it with an uppercut and a left hook right in the face. I felt bones crunch. My left hand exploded in pain, and I didn't know if the crunching bones were in the llama's face, in my hand, or both. Probably both. It grunted with surprise and unleashed its gob of spit just as its head turned away from me. I felt the heat of the lava ball sail over my shoulder. I stepped in and punched it again, a right jab directly in its glowing throat. The creature dropped like a sack of hammers. It tried to cry out, but nothing but gurgling came out. I jumped back as the fur and skin around his neck erupted in red flames. I had ruptured whatever the hell was in its throat that made the lava. The llama continued to gurgle and make pitiful sounds as its health plummeted. A moment later, it was gone. The lava around his throat started to rapidly cool, filling the hallway with an acrid, sulfurous stench. My left hand was broken. It throbbed in pain, but thanks to my regeneration ability, it was already knitting itself. I pulled up my health menu and looked at the pie chart. I could zoom in on a specific injury, and it gave me a detailed explanation on everything that was happening. My regeneration skill did a triage of my injuries, healing the most important items first. It was just my left hand along with some apparitions on my right hand. I could adjust the menu and give healing priority to other parts too. After a minute, I was as good as new. I dealt 71% of damage, Donut said, telling me I get to pick loot first. The corpse blinked and an info box popped up. Lootable corpse, Bad Llama, level 3, killed by Crawler Grand Champion Best in Dungeon Prince Donut when assisted by Crawler Royal Bodyguard Carl. Poor llama skin, uncooked llama steaks, and 2 uncooked llama steaks and 2 baggy of trailer park grade meth. Trailer park grade meth. The skin disappeared from the inventory menu along with one of the steaks. The skin disappeared from the inventory menu along with one of the steaks. The corpse skin disappeared, leaving just a gross pile of muscle. Your turn, Donut said. Meth, I said. I laughed at how absurd it was. I added the rest of the items to my inventory. My inventory added 2 new menus, food items and pharmaceuticals. Added a couple new achievements, one for looting a corpse and one for sharing experience. I received a bronze adventure boxes. Donut got the same, plus a couple additional achievements for casting her first spell and finally killing something, along with killing a mob a higher level than herself. That was no good. Donut looked at as we continued our trek east. Sloppy, you can't be injuring yourself every time we get into a minor tussle. Minor tussle? We need to be more cautious, I said. We can't just blindly stumble around. No, we need to level up, Donut said, and we need to do it quickly. I'm starting to think the main road is not the best choice for traveling or fighting. She jumped down a random hallway, and I had to rush to keep up. A few turns later, and we were far from the main thoroughfare. Here, the walls were tighter and the ceiling much lower. The whole place glowed green from the licking on the walls. Some of the halls curved and met dead ends, but thanks to the map, which built itself as we went, it was easy to keep track from getting too lost. The whole place was eerily barren. Occasionally, I had heard a screeching noise coming from the distance, and once I heard something that sounded like a man screaming at the top of his lungs, I followed by the gunfire. Gunfire, but it was far away, and I couldn't tell exactly from where. We traveled like this for what seemed like hours, not coming across anybody or anything except a few random door reveals and bathrooms. The bathrooms were everywhere. Um, a man screaming at the top of his lungs, followed by gunfire. I think I know what that's from. It's coming up. It was the strangest thing. There seemed to be a bathroom door about every quarter mile or so. Each doorway was different, and it appeared the doors were taken from actual bathrooms in restaurants and bars and buildings from around the world. Some had a symbol for men and women on them. One had a written sign in what looked like Korean. Another had a note saying it was paying for another had a sign saying it was for paying customers only. I opened the first four bathrooms we came across, and each one with the same side: a silver toilet and a roll of toilet paper. No sink, no mirror, just toilet and barely enough room to sit down in. No matter how wide or thin the door was, the room was the same each time. After the third room, I began to suspect it was the same room. To test it, I took the roll of toilet paper and pulled it out, dipping the end into the bowl of the waterless toilet. The next one we passed, I opened it up, and sure enough, the toilet paper remained dipped in the bowl. After I closed the door, I had Donna open it up. She could open and shut doors just by looking at them, as long as she was close enough. She opened the door just been in, but this time it was a knee-high cubicle featuring a litter box. Oh, good, I got a wee, Donna said, entering the room and shutting the door. She emerged 30 seconds later, trailing litter all over the place. She looked over her shoulder at me. You should go. You look like you need to go. What I really needed to do was sleep. The initial adrenaline rush from all of this was finally coming down, and I was exhausted. I'd only slept an hour or so before I'd woken up last night. Last night? It was barely 5 hours ago or so. And my health menu listed me as fatigued. It didn't cure itself with with my regeneration. We had to find one of the rest areas. We had to find one of the rest areas. Mordecai said they were all over the place. We could set up a temporary base of operations there and explore the area cautiously and deliberately. This aimless wandering was going to get us into big trouble sooner rather than later. A couple of minutes later, we were beset by a group of level 2 rats. There were five of them, and the screeching, hissing creatures were about half the size of Donut. The monsters weren't too big, but the bastards were huge for rats. They bit and scratched, and one even inflicted me with a poison debuff that only lasted for a second before my cloaking canceled it out. I ended up defeating them by punting them across against the wall one by one. They hit the wall and exploded like water balloons. Their deaths were over the top, overly gory, almost like their bodies contained twice as much blood as they should. Donut had leveled up to 2 after the llama battle. It appeared we received an experience equal with the percentage of how much we participated in the battle, but the number wasn't exactly equal with how much damage we dealt. I suspected support activities such as tanking and healing also counted, though we didn't have nearly enough data to figure it out if that was accurate or not. It also appeared that simply being in a party with someone and present at the battle garnered a nominal amount of experience. With the rats, I received barely enough to level me up to 3. Donut, who hadn't lifted a paw to help me, spent the next 5 minutes bitching about how her mentorship should have counted for more experience. The cat was definitely making an effort to be less abrasive, but she's still a cat. She had a reckless streak to her and a quick mouth, often making quips before realizing what she'd said. But she was also showing her very cat-like signs of affection too. One time, I stopped and leaned against her wall to rest, and she spent the time purring and rubbing against my legs. I looked down at her, and she returned my gaze. "What?" she said. By the time we finally found a safe room, we had participated in 10 more skirmishes, all against rats and those large cockroach things, scatterers. The bugs were the size of and shape of a loaf with bread. We didn't receive an additional loot of interest except multiple rat pelts and one roach dropped an item called a scatter coribrace, which added itself to my crafting item menu. I killed every single one of them with my bare feet. I punted the rats and jumped on top of the cockroaches. The bug mouse crunched like potato chips under my feet. While I did most of the fighting, Donut now made an effort to fire one magic missile each fight from the safety of my shoulder. Her skill level in the spell went up to 3. I spent a moment examining her stats. My view was limited, but I could see that she was currently had a 17 intelligence, giving her 17 mana points. Each zap of her spell cost 5 mana points. For me, the spell points were generated very, very slowly, making magic almost useless. Donut regenerated much faster, at about 1 point a minute. I didn't know why she generated the points more quickly, but 1 minute was still pretty slow. Most of these fights were decided in seconds. I hit level 3 and gained a skill called Foot Soldier and a second one called Smush. The foot soldier skill increased the damage I dealt by kicking the smush. The foot soldier skill increased the damage I dealt by kicking. The smush skill was something else. The voice reading the skill description was deeper, more throaty than usual. I could hear him breathing like he was a dude beating himself off when he said it. Smush, skill level 3. Killing with your feet, your bare, beautiful feet, taking your bare foot, placing it on top of a living, conscious life, and then pressing lovingly down until that life ceases to be. Is there a more noble way to kill? The amount of pressure you can bring your bear upon an enemy with your unshod foot is increased by 10% with each level of this skill. Ah, that sounds nasty. I remember the weird message I received before when I jumped on the Goblin Engineer. I thought it was just a throwaway joke, like most of the descriptions, but it seemed the AI or whatever it was that controlled the game has just really did have some sort of foot fetish. It was fucking weird. I guess we're not getting your shoes. Donna said after I made the mistake of describing the skill to the cat. Yes, we are, as soon as possible, I said. It sounds to me like the computer fantasy, Donna said, or your feet, at least. We'll need to take advantage of that. If the system likes us, then maybe it'll get a little easier on us. It makes me uncomfortable, I said. Being eaten by a bugbear makes me uncomfortable, Carl. So if your boyfriend ogling your tootsies keeps these easy peasy bugs coming at us instead of more of these lava spitting llamas, then you better buck up. Get over your human male privilege and take one for your princess. Take one for my princess. I muttered as she cackled with laughter. I saw the safe room glowing green on the edge of the minimap, and we angled our way toward there as we continued to argue. The scatterers were becoming more frequent, and I knew the main nest had to be nearby. At least, I hoped that was what was happening, and that Donut wasn't right. A single level fur roach scuttled away at our approach, disappearing toward a large round cavern that was just past the entrance to the safe room. We didn't pursue it, choosing to head safe toward safety. We entered the safe room. And we're up to chapter 9. Okay. All right, we're going to stop there. Um, I love the foreshadowing of everything that's going on at the moment. I'm sure whoever got shot and whoever was yelling, and we're going to find out soon who it was. And then you're seeing the roaches getting right there, so it's like, okay, it's coming. Um, so now she wants, like, she was just acting, and it's like, yeah, as soon as she found out that people are watching her and stuff, she decided to just become a princess and start acting like that. And then she realized, okay, Carl doesn't like it. All right, even though you suck at Call of Duty, you're still my guy. You know, you're my person, and like I like even if you try taking me with you, I'll go. But you know, her dad's gonna come pick me up anyway because I belong to her. And then later on, you find out something what he says, like, but not right now. It's like later on. Um, yeah, I can't wait to just read this again. Um, what is this chapter? Chapter 9. We'll do chapter 9 some other time. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for hanging out with me and reading it and getting to know more of it. We'll see you next time. Have a great night. Bye now.